before I forget. Good. Do a lot of Zoom calls and stuff?
Yes, unfortunately. I used to like bill extra anytime a client requested to do Zoom calls. And then this past year has been like, oh no, I love Zoom calls. But I don't love them. It's part of the year. It's the
Do you
nature
do
of the
you
game.
mean pre Zoom being a thing for 90% of the world? You used to get asked to do Zoom calls and you charge extra for doing it,
Oh yeah.
just because you hated doing it, or because it was like billable hours kind of thing?
I guess some of it was billable hours, but some of it was just uh like I feel self-conscious looking at, like half of my screen is me looking back at me,
Yeah,
and
you can
so
turn that off,
I probably could, but then what do I.
Then I have to look at
uh,
that other dickhead.
yeah, then I got to look at you. Um, no, it always seemed for the longest time that the people that would request video calls prior to COVID, like pre-COVID world, the people that would request video calls, it was like seemed to be jobs that never went anywhere. It was like this, or they would. It's the same people that would want to, um, that would want to like meet at like the fanciest coffee shop, to like have a conversation. I'm like, this could be an email.
Yeah,
And then we don't have to both pretend that we are like as coffee snobs as we're gonna have to pretend to be when we get there.
yeah. Do you find seeing as you're using Zoom longer than I am, do you find that like literally 45% of the time I've been looking at you, the rest of the time I've been like, what's on that whiteboard behind? I'm like, oh, what's that painting of? Like, all I do now is just
Yeah.
look at backgrounds. I've
Oh, for
gotten,
sure.
well, I'm interviewing people, and so many times I find myself just being like, fucking focus on what they're saying and stop looking
Right.
at the cat in the corner.
Right. Right. No, I was watching some of like your older episodes and I was like, man, he's got posters and flags. Like, I don't have any posters or flags. And then I debated cleaning off my whiteboard, but I just
No.
decided to let it ride for the day.
Is that an American? Oh, I don't know what it looks like, the outline of the USA hanging on the door handle. What's that?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's something my wife got me for my birthday a few years ago. I think it just says like "land that I love," maybe. I think that's what
Oh,
it
yeah.
says.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
dude.
yeah, no, I got this is like, one of those like pull up banners,
Hmm.
that you erect. Sorry. Um, but it's yeah,
Hey,
that's
maybe you do. Maybe you
that's
do.
every time I see it. That's some company in Ireland made that, direct printing in Cork. I think that was only like €30 or something, like, you know, $35. And
Yeah.
then that there's two flags there. I don't know if you can see the other one. This one down there. That's hiding the
Oh,
radiator.
yeah.
I got those in China. Like
Oh,
I was
really?
no, like I wasn't there. Like
Oh, they
I
printed it and shipped it to you?
yeah, I ordered it from like, what is it? Not AliExpress. Like, one of those really shit, like Alibaba or something.
Yeah, Alibaba. Yeah.
Um,
I my joke that when I first got married, I had like all of these flags from hardcore bands, like punk bands that I loved. And my wife was like, "You're not putting those up in our house." And I would hang them all up in my office. And my joke to her was that if you love something, you have to buy a flag of it. And I was like, "I'll get a flag of you next, sweetie, I promise." But that said, there are no flags of punk bands in my office anymore, and I also don't have a flag of my wife. But I can remedy that. I'll go to Alibaba and get a nice flag of my
yeah,
beautiful
I'm always
wife.
conscious of Alibaba though, because like there's, language barriers and stuff, but also they're so keen to get the image like straight away. Like, if you even inquire about anything, they're like, yeah, send me like a PDF or send me whatever. And it's like, right, okay, like I haven't agreed to doing it yet. Like, you
Right,
haven't told me a price or anything. So I'm
right.
always conscious that, like, say if you get a flag of your wife made, that she'll also end up on like a billboard in Wuhan
Oh,
or
right,
whatever.
right, right. No, I saw a thing online yesterday that was like there are like bots on Twitter that anytime there's like multiple posts that say like I want this on a shirt, that there's like companies that just like swoop in and put it on shirts. And so that there was a post that was um, it was like a Mickey Mouse head that was like hey Disney, I'm trying to infringe on your copyright. Like, this is copyright infringement. Please steal me. Just hoping that like whatever website it was would get caught up in Disney's like legal team and just get shut down.
That's unreal. Yeah. No, there's a lot of shit like that. I noticed that you kind of hear stuff about like, say your microphone picks up stuff and whatever, and like one terrifying one, I still don't see how it's possible. Maybe I misread it, but it was like if you linger on something on Instagram or whatever, if you're, you know, in your search bar,
Right,
search page, if you're
right.
scrolling and if you linger on something, that type of content then gets pushed into your Instagram. And I was like, fuck, does it mean like your eyes linger in that corner of the screen, or just the screen, the bit of
Dude,
the
I've
screen you can
noticed.
see
I feel like I've noticed that same thing. Like I've stopped, like on the Explore tab, I've stopped clicking
into
like
stuff?
on it, just
Yeah.
and just looking and seeing if like the thing that I was looking at started to like show me more content up, and I feel like it has in the past couple of weeks.
Do
And
you
I don't know what that
you
means.
follow a lot of athletes and stuff, I assume, do you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I get my, if I go into my search thing, it's all like half naked women and half naked men. And I think the only
Right.
reason I can see is just because I also follow like, you know, CrossFit athletes who, you know, I was going to say occasionally, 99% of the time have their top off.
Sure.
And I
Sure.
think that it just pushes that then, where it's like, oh, you like naked chicks.
Right.
Here's,
Oh, Peter must like nudity. Let's show him more nudity.
yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if some of it's like hashtags. I wonder like, you know, how much the like algorithm is actually like reading the pictures that we look at. But
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know,
true.
man. It goes back and forth from being like me thinking like, oh, this is really cool, to like, you know, like I follow a lot of like skateboarding stuff. And if I watch like one skateboarding video, then I get like 15 other ones and I'm like, oh, these are fun. But then I'm like, oh, you just used me, because now I'm looking at buying wheels from, you know, some company advertising on Instagram.
Yeah, like some of the stuff makes sense. Like it makes sense for Instagram to push what you like looking at, because you know, well, I mean, it's, I suppose it's dangerous as well, because it creates like an echo chamber where all you ever see is stuff that fits your narrative or whatever. But then
Right.
some websites just kind of half got it and then fucked it up. Where, like, say if you go onto Amazon and you buy like, you know, a Cabbage Patch doll or whatever,
Right.
chances are if you're in your late 30s, you're a collector and not like, you know, buying it for
Or
yourself.
a parent.
Yeah, so it'll
Yeah.
push that for you, which makes sense. But
Right.
then if you buy a toilet seat, like, you're not going to need a second toilet seat probably within a calendar year. But every time you go onto Amazon, it's like, hey, we noticed you bought a toilet seat. We assume
Remember
you're
that?
starting some sort of collection.
Right.
So
Remember that one time that you needed to shit? Yeah,
you
dude.
buy a toilet seat every time you need a shit.
Right. Hey, maybe you like a fresh one, you know? I
Yeah,
like to let my butt be a butt,
that's
you know?
the height of like disposable living, where it's like I just buy a new toilet every time. I never flush. I just throw it out.
Dude, there were guys, speaking of disposable living, I toured with a metal band for a little while, and there were guys who like, you know, full on lived on the road, and
Mm.
they would some of them would talk about not doing laundry, but just buying new packs of shirts, like just plain white shirts and socks and underwear at Walmart. They were like, it's cheaper than doing laundry in, you know, in the long
Yeah,
run. I'm like, well, what do you do with it all? They're like, I just throw it all away.
yeah,
It
that's
blew my mind.
it's a huge carbon footprint.
Yeah, right. Not only that, but you're riding around in a van from city to city. Like
Yeah, yeah,
you're, you know, I guess, you know, maybe bands are destroying the world. Maybe that's what the takeaway is.
yeah. Not all bands, just the ones that are using fast
Right.
fashion instead of
Right.
detergent.
Do plain white t-shirts count as fast fashion? Like
Well, I think
Gildan?
if you're buying them cheap in a shop that probably uses cheap labor, then
Right.
that's fast fashion, isn't it?
I just don't know if it falls in the category of fashion.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
fast.
Because they're just like undershirts, basically.
Yeah, vests.
Yeah, right, right, right.
Yeah.